There is no shortage of weight loss advice on the internet. Yeah, I'm getting married next year and I really need to lose weight for my wedding. Well, you need to eat less and move more. But I'm already only eating 1,500 calories a day and doing an hour of exercise. Well, you need to eat even less and move even more. Some of it is pretty good, but most of it is a whole load of nonsense. So in today's video, I'm going to give you 6 weight loss tips to completely ignore. Because weight loss is hard and we really want to make it as easy as possible for ourselves. If you're new here, I'm Maria and I'm a registered dietitian. Welcome to the channel. Now, you may have heard that eating breakfast is important to boost your metabolism after sleeping throughout the night. And as such, many people force themselves to eat in the morning, even if they're not hungry. Now, I'm a big advocate on this channel for eating a high protein breakfast, but breakfast does not need to be the very second that you wake up. If you are not yet hungry, it's okay to wait a little while. Your metabolism is not going to shut down. Now, if you are very hungry as soon as you get up, then by all means go and have your breakfast. But you don't need to force yourself to eat if you're not yet hungry. Listen to your body. Now, whenever you do decide to break the fast, which is breakfast, as I've previously mentioned on this channel, it should be high in protein, at least 15 to 20 grams, and have a nice bit of fiber in there too. You want to be having a nutritious and balanced breakfast to start the day. What I don't want you to do is try to purposefully delay breakfast to the point where you're basically skipping it. And then you end up overdoing it at lunch. Or you end up just grabbing a croissant at the bus stop instead of having a balanced meal. Or it's very common for some people to take the approach where they say, well, I'm going out for dinner with my friends later, and if I don't have breakfast, that means I'll be able to have an extra drink tonight, or I'll be able to order dessert. They try to save their calories from breakfast for later that day. And this is not a good approach either. Your body needs nutrition throughout the day, and skipping meals is just not a nice way to treat it. And often, by eating regular meals throughout the day when you do go out at night, you're more likely to enjoy it more and eat in a more controlled way. Food should always be complementing your life and not dominating it. Now, I do want to preface that in some instances, I do tell my clients to eat even if they are not hungry. And that may be if they are struggling with disordered or binge eating, or if there are hormonal factors that we're trying to navigate around. But for the most part, you don't need to force yourself to eat if you're not hungry. Your metabolism is not going to shut down if you don't put food in your mouth within the first 10 minutes of waking up. Similar to this, you will also hear some weight loss advice, telling you to eat every 2 hours to keep your metabolism fueling at its best. Now, this is not the case either. If you eat a good, decent, balanced meal with the right amount of protein, fats, carbohydrates, fruits and veggies, that should often keep you feeling full for 3 to 4 hours. So if you don't feel yourself hungry between that meal and your next meal, you don't need to force yourself to snack in between. Now, if you do find that you are hungry, there is nothing wrong with having a snack. Snacking can be really useful for some. It's highly individual. I personally nearly always need a mid-morning snack, but I sometimes don't always need a mid-afternoon snack. It just depends on my hunger levels that day. And our hunger levels will always differ day to day. For example, if you haven't slept well, if you've exercised a lot that morning or the day before, or if it's coming up to that time of the month, your hunger levels can be much higher. We want to start tuning back into what our body is trying to tell us. So to clarify, there is nothing wrong with snacking, but you are not doing your body a disservice if you don't eat something every 2 hours, or if you don't put food in your mouth within the first 10 minutes of waking up. I'm going to pause here and ask that if you're enjoying the video so far, I would really appreciate it if you hit the red subscribe button below. It really helps support my channel. And if you're looking for healthy, high protein recipe ideas, make sure to follow me over on Instagram. Now, do you have a crystal ball that can accurately predict the future? I didn't think so. And look, neither do I. But neither does anyone who is offering diet advice on the internet. So when you join a diet program, or when someone claims that you will lose a specific amount of weight, or even any weight at all within a certain time frame, you should take that promise with a big grain of salt. Why? Because we're all different in terms of genetics, environment, preferences, life circumstances, activity levels. And these variables make it impossible to predict how much weight you will lose due to an intervention, even if other people, or even if you, have lost weight from that same intervention in the past. So ignore these lose 5 pounds, lose 10 pounds plans, and instead focus on how healthy and complete an eating plan is. Just as important, pay attention to how it will make you feel. Is it restrictive? Is it sustainable? If something is just for quick weight loss, or it seems too good to be true, then it is a big red flag. I encourage all my clients to believe that time is on their side and to adopt this mindset, because mindset is really important when it comes to weight loss. And I honestly think this is what sets apart those who succeed and those who don't. It's not what they eat. And this means a lot coming from me as a dietitian. So no matter what your goal is, whether it's to lose fat, gain muscle, or improve your gut health, you need to remember that it's not a race and that time is on your side. You're not racing against anybody. You're not competing against anybody. And slow and steady is better, because slow and steady means healthy and not extreme. So the takeaway here is to avoid any diets with promises that you'll lose a certain amount of weight in a certain time frame. When I meet someone for the first time and I tell them that I'm a dietitian, do you know what the first question that I'm always asked is? Can you give me a meal plan? Now, meal plans have a place, but have you ever heard the expression, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day? Teach a man to fish and you feed him for life. Well, it's kind of the same thing with meal plans. I really do not like strict and prescriptive meal plans. Now, I do think if you're trying to change your lifestyle and make better healthy eating choices, you do need to be organized. You're not going to just by chance end up eating lovely home-cooked meals every evening, or always having a lovely prepped salad for lunch. You do need to take some time to plan out what you're going to be having for dinner in the evenings, so you don't just end up buying takeaways because your fridge is empty. But many people will buy meal plans on the internet, or these diet books with an 8-week meal plan to follow. And I myself have been given meal plans over the years from personal trainers and gyms. And a lot of them have been completely unsustainable. And a very strict regimen could cause you to run out of enthusiasm very, very quickly. And you might not learn anything in the long run. And what happens when you reach the end of the meal plan? You get stuck and you don't know what to do. And you end up going back to old habits. The other aspect is that these meal plans do not cater for a social life. What happens if you have someone's birthday dinner? Are you going to just not go? Or are you going to enjoy something that is not on the plan? And then technically you have failed. It's just not very flexible and conducive to a nice way of living. And food plays a much bigger role than just providing us with nutrition. It plays a role in our cultural identity and our social well-being. So please steer clear of strict meal plans. Now, when I'm working with clients, I will give them a meal plan if they want more structured guidance in the beginning. But my goal is to get you to a point where you will no longer need me. And you can make your own meal plans. You know how to build a balanced meal. You know how to read a food label. I'm probably the worst business person ever. But if a client needs to constantly come back to see me for new meal plans, then I have not done my job right. Now, I do have a monthly newsletter where I send recipes and meal planning tips. So I'll leave a link down below to sign up if you're interested. So the takeaway here is to avoid rigid meal plans and focus on learning skills that you can take into any situation. Now, if you've been having a hard time losing weight, you may have considered taking a pill or a supplement that is advertised as a fat burner, and they claim to increase your metabolic rate, or the amount of calories that you burn daily. Now, I'm going to tell you that these don't work, and I don't recommend that you take them at all. But I want to give you context because I want everybody to understand the marketing behind these. Because in theory, if you do look at some of the research, some of these have been shown to have the tiniest little bit of an effect. So for example, there was a study done with 25 people and they gave them spice. And 4 hours later, the people who had the chili, they burned 10 more calories than the people who didn't. Now, 10 extra calories a day for about a year would equate to 1 pound of weight loss. But they also found that if these people consumed chili regularly, they soon become desensitized to the effect. So it's probably not doing anything at all. So what I'm trying to say is these supplements will not in any significant way help you with weight loss. And supplements can, number one, be expensive, and number two, be potentially very, very dangerous, especially when you're getting into this fat burner territory. And the potential benefits of like a 10-calorie difference is absolutely pointless. And it is not worth the risk in any way, shape, or form. Now, if somebody told you that there was one particular food that had 0 calories, you could eat it and you would not gain weight, would you cut it out? No, probably not. Yet, so many people demonize carbohydrates and try to remove them all. And this is a really misunderstood concept. Sugar and fiber are both carbohydrates, but they are digested differently. And cutting out carbs is an issue because fiber, a really important tool for weight loss, is only found in carbs. Beans, lentils, fruits and veggies, these all contain carbohydrates. And fibre is the 0-calorie, non-digestible part of carbohydrate that adds bulk to food. Therefore, when you follow a diet rich in fibre, you feel full after eating, and you'll generally eat less throughout the day, leading to weight loss. Plus, carbs are the body's preferred source of energy. So the problem isn't the carbs themselves. And bread and pasta particularly get a bad name. But from my experience, the issue surprisingly isn't the bread or the pasta themselves. Usually it's what you're putting on them. Think of a big, generous scrape of butter on your bread, or a rich, creamy pasta sauce. Or the problem is that the portion size is really off. When people have pasta, for example, they tend to have a big bowl of pasta that fills the whole plate. But if we go back to our balanced plate model, you can still have your carbohydrate, but a balanced meal will also have protein and colour. So if you're not following this and you're eating portion sizes way beyond this, your body will take the extra energy and store it as fat. But if you eat too much of anything, your body is going to take that extra energy and store it as fat. So they don't need to be demonized and completely removed. I'm a big believer that all foods can fit, and denying yourself of something will often only make you want to eat it more. Now, refined carbohydrates, like sugary cakes, ice cream and sweets, these are not great for weight loss, but again, it's all about context. It's the dose that makes the poison. A little bit of these foods in moderation is okay, and including small amounts of these might actually help you stick with your lifestyle changes in the long term. So my takeaway here is do not cut out carbohydrates. So to summarize, your metabolism is not going to shut down if you don't eat breakfast or eat every 2 hours. Steer clear of any diet that promises that you will lose X amount of weight in X amount of time. Don't rely on rigid meal plans and don't take fat burning supplements. And please don't completely remove carbohydrates, or any food for that matter. Now, if you're looking for tips on what I recommend that you do if you're trying to lose weight, then check out these videos here. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, stay happy and healthy, and I'll see you again next week. Thanks for watching.